allowed to work completely individually unless necessary.
Okay, so I individually want to murder people and you individually don't. So I think I'm justified in my belief, so I'm going to act on my moral code.
And I imagine that if 5 of us decide that we individually don't want you murdering people and that we want
but again, the point is but look, the point is then here's where it leads to and why we say tribalism, right? Because then if there decides to get 300,000 pedophiles in the state of California, well, they outnumbered you, and now you can't go to California with your 45 friends because guess what? You're getting raped and then shot. And that's the point. What stops them from existing what stops them from all the pedophiles leaving your town? Because you said all the people here have agreed pedophiles are bad. They're going to go now somewhere, right? And they will outnumber you at one point. And then
that's the issue. Your ideal society necessarily requires a conflict of the application of force, right? In statist society, there's an objective metric set as the standard of whether physical force is justified or not. In your ideal society,
there isn't.
Okay.
Hold on. Nunya. Go ahead. Jump in. What do you think, Nunya? I got to hear this first. Sorry.
Yeah, so I mean, I kind of understand like where both of you guys are coming from. I don't, support anarchy, but I understand what you mean when you say that like we should kind of pull back, or at least the position I come back is that we should pull back from, an applied government force in the way that we have it, right? But I also understand your position, Prophet, that like, as an organized society, we need to be able to organize together and like serve each other's best interests and have something in place in order to protect those best interests. So I think that in the society that we live in, like when you're dealing with violent crimes, there has to be something there that's a deterrent to it. But that deterrent should not be in I don't agree with the current system that we have in place as a deterrent.
Yeah, can you give an example of like, you talk about like the court system you don't like, or police, or what? Which?
So I mean, for example, the police, right? Like, I don't agree with the police system as it exists today. I don't agree with the judicial system as it exists today. I think that it's very biased. I think that it doesn't serve the needs of a lot of the people that live in this country. And I don't actually think that it extends itself to even hear the needs or consider the needs of like a majority of the people that live in this country.
Yeah,
it's the classic. We investigated our wrongdoing and found that we did everything right.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah,
so we need just more systems in check to check we need more checks and balances.
No, I think that we need something in place that allows more voices to be able to come together and decide what they feel, or not even what they feel, but like really pretty much what is in the best interest of everyone as a whole.
Right, but see, here's the problem. We've already done something like that, there, right? Because we can't get seven.
As a whole is very one-sided.
Right, but we can't get 700,000 people in a room and listen to everyone's opinions. That's why we select a body of people to represent us.
Actually, especially with today's technology, that's very much so available. And then you can vote on these issues and you can decide, like you can come to a consensus, or at least look at statistical like data to determine what eventually works out in the best interest of everyone.
Yeah, but this isn't really efficient, right? So when we're doing like any task, right? When we're trying to produce any value, in this case, it's the value of like political structure, right? It requires a vast amount of nuance, right? If we want an efficient society, it is way more effective to delegate or divide the labor of political thinking and politics to representatives to represent us, right? All 330 million people in the United States.
Yeah, okay, but the issue that comes with that is that not these representatives don't represent the needs of everyone, right? So
no, they never represent the needs of the majority.
Yeah, no, but
they don't.
Wait, let me finish. That's a problem, though, because as we've seen throughout history, the needs of the majority has represented one side of this country and has actually harmed other. It's
all on social agreement. So that's why as humans progress and we get smarter and more understanding and more accepting of each other, that's why we say we have to socially, culturally grow.
Accepting of each other until we actually extend ourselves to hear each other's voices and hear each other's needs. Like that doesn't just come by way of being human. That comes by
we still hear each other's needs, right? Like the ability
No,
for
that's not
you to
necessarily true.
engage.
Like in 1864, we didn't hear all of each other's needs, right? Like a large percentage.
In 1964, sure, right? In the United States as of 2022, right? People can express their beliefs and demonstrate facts, right? On most public platforms in a relatively open way, right? The only difference is that the decision-making process is being done by the representative.
Except if you donated too much money to your buddy who's running for office, in which case your voice
in Georgia, in the state of Georgia, 30% of the population is black and 70% of the population is white, right? So like if you have, and then within that state, like, right, like you have people that were raised by traditions that are vastly different. So you'll have people that consider, you know, what is important to be vastly different than what's possibly fair for the vast majority of those people. And that's where you come into an issue. And then those people.
You're saying that those people were just like,
or may not be a representative of like everybody's need as a collective.
Imagine me going to Africa, right, and just being like, you know, I really think it's a I think it's a sham. I think it's a sham that I'm really like a marginalized community, that everyone around me in this community is just the majority.
We're not in Africa, we're in America, right? Like we're in a country that was actually developed.
What's to stop? Right, but I'm trying to show you the lucracy. Why I can't say the word.
In Africa, you're talking about people who are native to that continent. Like in America, the vast majority of people in this country are not native to this country and actually came over to this country with their own best interests in mind, which harmed other groups of people.
Grandparents, listen, the people you're speaking of were already here, right? They grew up here. They were born here. They weren't brought in on a ship. Those aren't the people you're speaking of.
No, but my grandparents were raised in segregation. So like, yeah, they were raised under.
Now they're not, because it took a ton of like black and white people to say. It took a ton of people.
So yeah, no, my grandparents were raised under someone else's.
But again, to insinuate that things like Jim Crow laws and redlining and things like that are not still having negative impacts on large communities is ridiculous. Let's be honest, the premise is incredibly racist.
No, it's not. And I didn't make the premise at all. I didn't make the case for any of those things.
Like, you're sitting here stating that just because, you know, redlining is illegal now and slavery is illegal now and Jim Crow isn't allowed, that somehow that everyone's life is just better. And that's not fucking
Never
true.
once made that claim. No, I'm just suggesting we live in 2022 right now. We don't live in a segregated America.
We don't live in a segregated America, but we don't live in an America that fully understands the nuances of the impact that came from a segregated America. And
what do you mean? Everyone, I'm pretty sure, knows about slavery, how it came to be in America, and all of that.
Understands the of how slavery impacts African Americans today. I don't think people understand the nuances. Like, for example,
hold on. But the idea is what
Americans are descendants of people who were able to
walk down the street.
African Americans are descendants of people who were not able to pass wealth on from each other, and we are just understanding the ramifications of that. So I don't think a lot of Americans understand the nuances of the impacts of slavery. I don't.
If I go right now, I have a wife beater right there. I have a bulletproof vest right there. And I have a gun right there. If I walk down my fucking street right now like that, I will be perfectly fucking fine. Nunya does it, he's dead.
All you're doing is saying stereotypes exist and that people profile, and that's true. We're evolutionary, like, built into us, right? If there's a noise in the bushes over there, you have to profile. Listen. Here's the problem. Listen, hold on. Listen. I'll let you speak. Hold on. Let me just get this up. The problem you don't like profiling is because there are reasons people profile, and those reasons can be discussed for the better or for worse. I'm sorry that stereotypes are true. That's really what bugs you. But just because you're emotional about it, it's not racist. Stereotypes are true. What do you mean?
No, they're not.
Oh, they're not.
No, stereotypes are true. Stereotypes exist. That's what he means.
You got to both speak at one time, so I know which one's talking.
Well, let me just say this: I understand what you mean. You're not saying that stereotypes are true against the people that they're placed against. You're saying that they exist and that they're present. That's what you're saying, and that it sucks that they exist.
Yeah, I'm just saying things are true about reality. That, I mean, like, you know what I mean? Like, kids, by and large, teenagers make bad decisions. That's a stereotype. It happens to be true. We know the reasons we know it are true are there are multiple reasons, right? It can range. But the point is, on average, we know teenagers don't always make the best decisions. This is why we don't let them smoke, why we don't give them all the free rights of adults, right? So all I'm suggesting is that your nonsense issue of people getting profiled, I don't care that people get profiled. It doesn't matter to me. Profiling is a basic necessity of fucking function. I need to be able to profile in every single situation all day, every day. So just because I use my faculty,
the insinuation that profiling goes from we don't let kids smoke because they make bad decisions to we don't let black men that are carrying firearms live because some of them
that's
make
not
bad
no
decisions.
that's such a dishonest statement to say. It's like it's nothing but virtue signaling.
Yeah,
You
I
are
would
literally
say here. I would
No,
say
he's right though. But that is effectively what stereotyping is, and what you are actually saying is that stereotyping derives from a certain truth. But let's be real though. Like if you're gonna say that's those stereotypes derive from a certain truth, and the outlook that African Americans have on white Americans derive from a particular truth, and maybe the outlook that we have that white Americans are racist, maybe that derives from a certain truth, and we can live with those stereotypes. Then maybe
no. I'd say those people who had slaves and who were for slavery were racist. So it's that simple. You want to paint a blanket, just like it's always say all Muslims are terrorists.
No. But what I'm saying is that police officers that apply stereotypes and the people that they pull over or the people that they even end up killing,
have to. They have to. They have
you are
to.
arguing.
Yeah,
What we are arguing here is two different things. Right? What Nonya has stated is that the belief that white people are racist. The belief that white people are racist doesn't harm anyone. If somebody thinks you're racist,
are you being racist doesn't harm anyone essentially?
Yeah.
No.
To get my take on this. So let me just restate my political beliefs before I get into the social issue. Right? Like, I'm a capitalist. Okay. If you've ever read like any of the objectivist literature, I'm for that. Right? I'm for a laissez-faire economic system, right, and a political institution which protects men's rights. That being said, I agree.
Right.
unless they're not seen as man.
No.
No, that wait, you didn't let me finish. Right? I don't know why you're trying to like virtue signal me as somehow like racist. This is what I'm saying. I'm progressive. I agree with you. I think that like current instances or like past instances of collectivism or racism like integrated into like codification like definitely have societal impacts that like carry over now. I don't disagree with you. I don't disagree with the idea that racism has like effects that last. Like I don't disagree.
I said there's tons of reasons for all these things that can be discussed. I just said whether you like it or not.
I would say I disagree with Ham on the idea that we should like that, like with like the profiling thing. But I would say like and if whatever progressive statement you make about like race and its effects in the United States, I probably agree. Okay. So
my issue is Ham Sandwich saying that profiling is necessary.
Yeah, I don't.
It is.
Profiling as a cop is not necessary.
Let me ask you. So what I said was it was an evolutionary function, and it's a necessity to exist in society. So listen, I started off with if I'm a primate, right, and I hear a rustling. If I hear a rustling over in the bushes, I need to now use my critical thinking faculty and determine whether there's a risk or not. Is there a tiger or a predator in those bushes that's going to come out and attack me? This is how fight or flight was engineered into our brains. It's how our brains work, right? So now here's where you don't like it. Here's where it clashes for you, right? So you give me the example of the black person being profiled or whatever. When a cop, if I'm coming out of a movie theater, right, and I can take the bus is right here on my left, the bus stop, or I can just walk about a half mile down to my right, and there's my house. There's two black people on my right hand side, and they're just dressed up in the typical thug clothing. We'll just say it's because everyone hates me already. But I look to my left, and there's grandma who just came out of the same church with me. She's sitting at the bus station at the left. I now have to make a decision. Which one is safer? Okay. Now, here's where we disagree. You don't like the reasons by which I came to the conclusions. It was safer to go left than it was safer to go right. Because that's what you don't. And I'm not saying there's tons of reasons for that. Tons.
Do you believe that the media divides us?
Of course, the government, the media, all of it. It's all a design system to keep you down and oppress everyone. That's why I don't like your virtue signaling where it's just black people, white, African.
If you believe that the media's intent is to divide and to separate us, then you can also believe in the media's influence on your perspective on who's more dangerous in that scenario. Because much of the outlook of stereotypes in this country has been shaped by.
I know that following a woman to the left rather than following two men I don't know to the right is safer. Always. Doesn't matter the color of their skin.
Black men. You describe them as black men. You don't say two men you don't know. So let's stick to your narrative. You describe them as black men. So under that precept, like the media has shaped people's outlooks on black people.
No, it's not the media. No, the statistics. No, wrong. The statistics 100% shape the outcome.
No. Before black people, listen, let me tell you something. Before black people were ever a statistical threat to white people, black people were painted in a very dangerous picture, creating a circumstances of poverty that allowed black people to become.
I'm trying to tell you. I'm trying to answer your question directly.
Let me change your hypothetical.
Are a statistical threat to black people. They're not a statistical threat to you. So I don't know why you would actually examine.
I'm trying to answer your question.
In terms of statistics, it's not. In terms of statistics, it's not really true that black men propose that much of a threat to white people, right? Like most of the crime.
No, that's not what I'm saying. I didn't get to. That's not what I'm suggesting.
I know. I'm just clarifying. Like, it's not really a statistical thing that like black men are just, like going out shooting like white people.
No,
it's not most of the case. I just want to clarify that.
No, there's about 1% of black men that do that. Like 1%. Like that's the problem I have. Is that I don't. I don't even most like 90% of black people don't really are just normal people. Right? 3% of the entire black population commits over 70% of the crime, right? So that's really that's always been the issue, and that's why cops. Listen to me before you freak out. Listen before you freak, and that's per capita. That's per capita. That is per capita. Those are real numbers per capita.
No, but let's really talk about per capita. Like when you look at that, you're talking about poverty. Like white poverty and black poverty pretty much line up as far as committing crimes. Like white.
I'm saying if there's 10 people in a room, right? I'm saying no. Listen, listen. I'm going to mute you in a second if you don't listen to me. I'm saying there's 10 people in a room. Right? And statistics, you can go to FBI.gov, the Census Bureau. You can go to these places. It shows that out of 10 people in a room, right? In 1 year, black people were responsible for killing 7 people.
You're talking about poverty. You're talking about poverty.
No. I'm talking about crime. No, I'm talking about the things that are never acceptable. Murder and rape.
No.
Those are never acceptable.
I want to make this
violent crimes.
Yeah, I want to make this point too, right? So, normally, right? Normally,
and this is all in defense of what I'm saying is there are stereotypes, and you don't like the reasons by which they're. Because here's the problem. Again, another statistic is most black men have hostile interactions with police. That's a statistical number.
Wait, yeah. So, here's the point.
Go ahead.
Here's the point here's the point that we're making, though, right? That like the reason which an explanation for the statistic of like black men committing so much crime is because the amount
I say crime, I say violent crime, like murder and rape. Things that are unacceptable, doesn't matter if they're race.
I said violent crime.
You can say the same thing for poor white Americans.
One of the explanatory reasons for black men committing so much violent crime is due to the fact that violent crimes are also statistically linked to your socioeconomic status. Right? So if we have a society which is recovering from certain people being hindered from engaging in the social like the market from compared to like people of other races, and they happen to be lower on the socioeconomic ladder, and then we ponder as to why they commit more crime, well, it's because they're feeling the effects of a generational gap in wealth. And thus, because they're lower on the socioeconomic ladder, they're going to face the normal socioeconomic repercussions, which is committing more amounts of violent crime, right? So it's not because like black people, I'm just clarifying. I don't think you're.
No, but again, that's why I only talk about rape and murder, because it doesn't matter if your socioeconomic upbringing or anything. Those are the two instances in where nothing matters.
Listen.
No, it does. It absolutely does. It absolutely does.
Yeah.
No, can I make a point? Because I haven't been able to make a point without being interrupted. It absolutely does. But yeah, like exactly. Like, right? Like he just
And
said.
before you go, I agree. Black people have not had a good go in society by the government. Like, what? I have no problem admitting that.
Make my point. So
Sure.
if black people haven't had a fair go in society, right, then you would say that black people are more like we suffer the effects of poverty more than white Americans. But when you compare the stats of impoverished white Americans, right, 10% of the white population is impoverished. 20% of the black population is impoverished. So the reason why you have a higher statistical rate of black people committing crimes in this country, because more of us are under the pressures of poverty. But when you compare white impoverished population to black impoverished population, the violent crime stats are just exactly the same because poverty increases violence.
No. This is per capita. No, these numbers are all per capita. No, they're not. No, they're not. They're not even close. They're not even close.
You're arguing. So
impoverished white Americans are just as likely to commit crimes as impoverished black Americans. Now I feel like you're leaning on bias.
I'm just using. All I'm using is the numbers that I have. That's all I'm using.
Can I intercede here because I'm going to destroy this per capita bullshit. I'm gonna destroy this per capita bullshit real fucking quick. You know what the biggest problem with per capita is?
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't put into account density, right? It doesn't include density at all. So you sit there and you look at, say, Texas
per 100,000.
No, but we look at Texas and California, right? They have pretty much the same homicide rate, firearm-based homicide rate. Texas is at five people out of 100,000. California is at 4.9 people out of 100,000, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, would you argue that the murders in fucking the murders in California are happening in Jackson County or Los Angeles County, right?
So your statistic was absolutely wrong. 45% of white people live in poverty, sir. 45% of white people live under the poverty.
Real quick before just on a separate question though, like because all the white thing and the racism, it's all tied to like the white privilege stuff, but like I guess what I don't understand is like white people are singled out in this sense because like nobody calls out Asian privilege, right? Like everything you say white people cheated to get and that we just abuse, Asian people score better at, right? They do better in school, they do better in family life.
Wealth in this country. So if we were built on white supremacy, we are epically failing, considering that 45% of white people live under the poverty line and Asians have the most wealth in this country. Then white people, then African immigrants. Why is it that Africans from that were not born in America are faring better in our system than black people that are born here? They're not having these issues of saying, "Oh, I'm oppressed and the system's holding me back." They're coming here and thriving.
Once I think America freezes.
I want to go back to your hypothetical ham sandwich before I disappear for the night.
All right.
Your hypothetical.
I want to thank you for coming on, by the way. We always are glad to have everyone's opinions on it. I hope you come on again in the future.
I used to actually follow Semper Brass. I don't know what the hell happened to him. He disappeared,
my old account got freaking nuked. I had somebody on a live that decided to flash a firearm, and I suffered the repercussions of it. So let's look at your hypothetical, right? You threw out the two black men, thuggish dressed, as you said, right?
Yep.
And the grandma, okay? So instead, let's say you're at the movie theater. There's two streets you could go down, same distance to your house, which is on the next block over, right?
Yep.
Underneath one light is a black man, baggy jeans, hoodie, freaking chains. Under the light at one corner. Under the light at the other corner is me. Baggy shirt or baggy pants, hoodie, chains, dressed exactly the fucking same. Which way you going?
I have to just
whooping
choose
either
one
of y'all's asses, so it don't matter.
Or you want me to just say that I'm going to choose to go down your road because you're white?
Yeah. Well, what would you choose?
Because that's my point.
Your argument is for profile.
No. So I would still profile, like I said I would before. So if I see the two of you are sitting there and you're both wearing the same thing, same getup, I would then say, okay, which one looks physically stronger to me? Which one do I think that I would have best the chance at? I would just profile more.
So let's say I say my current weight, right? I'm 220, kind of fucking chubby because I work in desk now. And the other guy is fucking looks like 50 Cent, right?
Yeah.
Which way you going?
I would go with the weaker looking person.
Right.
So me, right? Because 50 Cent is fucking jacked.
That has nothing to do with race.
Cool.
That has
Your
to do with
profiling is fucking broken because I'm more likely to shoot you than he is.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter. It's profiling because I felt safer. I had to make the decision.
You are more likely to be hurt by me.
Bro, but the fact that you can't wrap your head around the fact that stereotypes are stereotypes for a reason. Look, I grew up in the hood. In the hood, you have to keep your head on a swivel. You have to do nothing but profile and make quick split-second decisions that really are literally could mean your life. Like
yeah,
that's,
you know what?
I don't.
That's where I grew up.
The idea you're saying though that you statistically I'm more likely. That's not true. That's a false. No, it's not.
It is
not per capita. No, it's not. Per capita, it is not true. And this is why it is such a hot topic, because when you look at the actual numbers, rape and murder, okay? And I'll just use, I think 2019 was the actual statistics I have in my folder on my thing. Over 70% of violent crime was committed. Now, we're not talking grandma. We're not talking Bruce City Bree here, okay? These are black males between the ages of 16 and 25. It's about 1% of the black population. And the issue is that they are such a misrepresentation of the crime. So in America, of all crime existing, right, of violent crimes, they commit 70% of it. So 1% of the population commits 70% of all murders. And then I profile, and you say, why are you profiling? It's so bad of you to profile. You're such a bad person.
The thing is,
53% of murders are committed by 13%.
Right?
Of the
you're failing to realize here. We'll go on the premise that yeah.
Yeah, sorry. I'm probably off on the numbers.
Commit this fucking majority of the crimes, right? What you're failing to look at is who are the fucking victims there, right? Who's a black person more likely to kill?
Black people.
Yeah. Who's a white person more likely to kill?
White people. And it's the same true for every race.
So your argument of I profile based off of strength is dumb because you've just openly admitted I am more likely to fucking kill you than that other guy is.
No. I'm saying statistically, you are not more likely to. Again, I'm the one profile. It's subjective to whoever is profiling. If you came out of the movie theater, you would probably say, well, I trust the black guy more because I know white people are racist and shitty. You've profiled and you've come to a different determination than I have. Why is your determination any less valid?
I would say, fuck it. I'm just gonna go straight through that fucking yard across the street.
Okay, so but you've profiled and made a choice. Why is your choice?
Because I ain't scared of either one.
Yeah,
why is when you profile? But why is it when you profile? But you profile and it's okay, and I do it.
That's the thing. I don't. The thing is that
you
I don't live in this.
You
fucking
don't have a choice.
Right?
I'm saying you don't have
fucking fear.
When you get up, look.
I would walk out of that movie theater, and I would walk home.
I don't think you understand. I don't think you're understanding what I mean by profiling. Then, because you walk across the street, there's a crosswalk, and then there's a spot where there isn't. You have to profile which is more safe. Which one's going to get me a ticket for jaywalking? Which do I? You can choose either, but you have to make the decision. Every decision is a profiling instance, just depending on what it is, what interaction it is based off of. That is what I'm trying to suggest. You don't have a choice when it comes to profiling. You don't have a choice but to profile. And that's why I said you don't like that stereotypes are true. There's tons of reasons. Part of the reasons are black people got fucked over for a long time. No one's denying any of it.
I just came in to see what you were talking about. I didn't want to get sucked up into all this.
Oh, sorry. What's up, buddy? I know. How are you? Yeah, you know how it goes over here. 88 people. I haven't looked up in an hour. Like the last time I saw, we had 5 people in here. So that's ridiculous.
It's like 40 when I came in.
I don't think you understand what profiling means. Well, Jesse, why don't you tell me?
So many of these issues come down to not race but culture. We are convoluting class issues and we are convoluting culture issues with quote unquote race issues, and this is why the structure of the race itself is a toxic thing. People, what is your nationality? What is your ethnicity? Because race only mixes people in together that have absolutely nothing the fuck to do with each other. And until we all just say we're Americans, nothing's gonna fucking change. Period.
That's right. I just had to bring it up for the case of profiling. Like I had to explain my reasoning for it. That was all. But again, like this is why I say 99% of black people like are just normal people like me and you, and so Asian people, and so are fucking Muslim people. Like that's the whole point. People who commit crime are a small percent of the population, and they suck. Doesn't matter who they are, and everyone agrees that.
Yes, but the issue is that you disregard outlying.
No one. No. What does outlying mean? Disregard what? What am I disregarding?
So you disregard the other issues that are involved in that.
He didn't, though. He just said that, yes, historically they've gotten screwed. He said that multiple times, but that doesn't change. So because they got screwed in the past, we just need to let them be like live in fucking anarchy and shoot their neighbors. Like, I mean, no, we still have to fucking resolve the issues in their culture and in their neighborhoods and communities. We can't just sit back and say, because they were exploited 50 years ago, 100 years ago, whatever, you know what I mean? Because they were exploited, now we can just let them make an excuse to live like that. No,
let's shift gears
everybody else in danger. No, that's no.
Well, let's shift gears here. Semper Bass, do you think that affirmative action is racist in written law, and do you think it's good or bad, or what do you feel about it?
I think
you realize all three of us are Marines, right?
My personal belief.
Are we really? We got the Semper Fi crew in here.
Yep.
Thank you.
Oh, Semper Brass. Oh, that makes sense now. I see. I didn't know that. Okay, Bruce.
So I would argue that
hoorah,
we should work to fix the poverty rate across the board, right?
Sure. Who doesn't agree with that?
And that would decrease crime overall.
Yeah, but I mean, the problem, I totally agree, but I know you're going to suggest a way that involves just robbing rich people or white people to do it, which I agree with.
Do you know that there are, like, you're also correlating poverty with blackness. So 45% of white people are in poverty, and 19% of and 19% of black people are in poverty. So you're literally picturing black people when you picture poverty. And that's not the case. And that's far from the case.
White people per capita are poor, where there's more white people than black people on average.
The insinuation that when I think poverty, I automatically think black people.
Well, all you're talking about is black people. You're only talking about black people.
Every time you talk about poverty, you're talking about black people and implying that is the majority of black people. The majority of black people do not
I'm not fucking saying that. Stop insinuating. Stop making guesses as to what the fuck I'm saying. Especially since the fact I can't afford fucking groceries right now. So you can eat a fucking dick. That's not what I'm fucking saying. I'm saying poverty across the board is a problem for fucking everybody, and that we need to fix it for fucking everyone.
Well, but what's the solution though? You don't want a mechanism by which
I would argue that spending $600 billion a year on our military, more than the next 10 countries combined, nine of which are fucking allies, is ridiculous. I think that there is a massive amount of budgetary spending by the United States government.
But why do you have the problem with military? I don't get people always use this argument like the government spends money very badly. But let's take it away from the part of the budget that protects the country. Like nobody wants to support the Medicaid, Medicare, healthcare that just rips people off.
How much of that money
any of the other
are we pulling in from other countries to take care of their countries?
Yeah. How? What part of the $1.7 trillion F-35 budget for the plane that we're not adopting for our own fucking military do we actually need?
We don't.
How many times did the
F-35s in Miramar right now?
The Army going to go? Okay, we're going to spend this many billions of dollars looking for a new infantry rifle that we're not actually going to adopt in 2 years, right? So
the Marine Corps infantry just got fucking set up with an entire new rifle, dude.
Well, I mean, technology advances. You have to put money into advancing technology. There's no way around that.
But the thing is, you look at the M4, right? The M4 carbine. It's been around since the 80s. Okay. And the United States Army is sitting here we need to replace this because it's insufficient. So what do? They come up with the XM8 program, but the XM8 wasn't better. So they wasted all that money.
I thought they were using they're not using M16s.
Hold on.
What have I missed? Because I was just M16s. Like, what is everyone using nowadays? When I was first leaving, when I was leaving,
IARs.
everyone got ACOGs. It was bullshit. I was very upset.
I have an ACOG right there. So the Army decides that the M4 doesn't cut it anymore. So what do? They start the XM8 program, and they adopt the XM8. But then the XM8, they realize it has a lot of fucking issues, and they spend billions of dollars because they fucking gave a contract on that shit.
Yeah, that's how the government works. They give out contracts. The problem is, though, the contracts through the government are from people like, they're just people who just want to come in and make millions and millions of dollars and like export the lowest quality products. So. Okay,
so but they did it with the XM8. The XM8 becomes a complete failure. It doesn't pick up on the civilian market. So the company that actually made the XM8 has gone under, I think. No, XM8 was created by HK. HK is still around. They just don't make the XM8, which I'd love to have one, just for the shiggles because it looks like a fucking tuna fish. Okay, so the XM8 fails. They go another few years and they're fine with their fucking M4s, and then the Army goes, well, the M4 isn't cutting anymore. We're gonna try again. So then there's the SCAR. The SCAR does end up picking up on the civilian market, not as much. It's a 7.62, which is not fucking useful as an infantry rifle. So they spend billions of dollars on this, and then they don't fucking adopt it. So they just
I'm about guys. This is really my forte. I just don't know much about weapons,
now they're going with the Sig Sauer MCX Spear. I don't even know what the fuck they're calling it. It's the XM something. And I give it fucking a few months before they realize it's not fucking worth it, and they're going to go back to the original black rifle.
Okay, but all you've done is suggest the government wastes money on weapons. They waste much more money on other places, though. Like
what?
Healthcare, Medicaid, and Medicare. It's a much bigger percentage of the budget.
You're talking entitlements versus our $600 billion fucking.
Yeah, the $600 billion is good. It protects like Americans from dying.
Like if I hadn't pointed out $600 billion and I asked you to guess how much we spend on our fucking military budget, would you have guessed $600 billion a year?
Yeah, I would probably guess higher, but I thought it was closer to $1 trillion.
And like I'm gonna so the fact that we spend all this money and then we get our asses kicked by civilian forces, right?
Who?
We lost Vietnam. We lost the war on terror. All we did was make more terrorists.
Well, the war on terror is a framed dish. It's a framed statement. So it's.
Well, the war on terror is also theaters, right? I have a GWAT. I have a medal that says I fought the global war on terror.
Okay, the reason why we keep losing is because we have to abide by laws. We can't just go in and trust me. If you unleash the United States military,
it's not a war crime.
Like just let them off the damn leash. Let them off the fucking leash. We would wipe anybody off this fucking planet. Anybody.
Bureaucrat politics are really what stops mission readiness and successfulness. I'll be right back. Gonna take a tinkle. Talk amongst yourselves.
Well, I would also argue that it's an over reliance on technology.
How so? It's technology that's put us ahead.